all, it's my birthday today. Still wrapped up like a cocoon. Winds weren't as bad last night, so actually got some sleep. Well, I say that, and I just looked at the time. It's currently almost 4:30, and I really need a wee. I'm back. Suppose challenge. I haven't stood up yet, but I don't actually feel that bad. Yesterday, during the challenge, everything was burning, and I have rubs in all sorts of different places, but so far so good. So this morning is a bit of a pain because I'm trying to get home, well, get to family, because it's my birthday, but because it's Sunday. Sunday service for trainers, horrific. And I'm in the middle of nowhere. So I've just looked at the train journeys, and it's going to take 6 hours to get back by the train, and bus replacements. Oh, and the first train's at 11:30. And it's 4:30 now. So what to do? Breakfast here is served from 5 o'clock till 6:15, which is a bit random, 6:15. I don't want to start clearing up too early because I don't think I'm going to have to leave here till about 10. They don't have any power sockets here either, so I've had to save my phone battery throughout this time, just turning on and off to make sure I can hopefully have battery power, because it has all of my train tickets, it has everything important. This is a problem with technology, guys. We rely on it so much that when they die, just like, what to do? So I'm gonna get changed and go and grab some breakfast. Another hour wait, because apparently a lot of Kendal, where I am in the Lake District, don't open till 10:30. So I've treated myself to a little birthday soya latte, and in here we have a good old sausage roll. I've already eaten breakfast, so feeling a bit naughty for having breakfast number 2, but it's my birthday. Only a bit tired, but I've made it back home. That is currently my bath running in the background, not me peeing. Oh, I can't wait to jump in the bath. I've been thinking about it ever since I finished the challenge. I was like, oh, a nice hot bath to relax in and soothe the aching muscles. But now I'm going to probably get some washing on. Got a lot of washing to do. Have a hot bath, chill, spend some time with the fam, and get a good early night. Oh, that's hot. Fresh out of the bath. Gosh, that felt so good. I felt like I was removing a layer of dirt off of my body. Having a bit of fresh orange juice sitting in the garden. Home sweet home. Guys, look what I got for my birthday from my godmother. These are PJs. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. They give me like camper beach vibes. So you have these little bottoms, and it's really good because I like baggy things, but then I also like them to be tight on the waist at the same time. So these are adjustable waist, nice and loose and breezy. Because it's coming up to summer here in the UK, it's always handy to have PJs. Like every time someone always asks me, what would you like for your birthday? And I go, you don't have to get me anything, but I always love PJs. So my godmother, every birthday, every Christmas, she always gets me some PJs. And like, look how cute that is. Such beachy vibes. Oh my God. Oh, bed. Oh my gosh. This feels so nice. I'm gonna starfish out tonight. It's 8:30 and I'm in bed and I'm not even upset about it. Nothing beats your own bed. I'll see you in the morning, guys. Just going for a light hour-and-a-half stroll just to give the legs a bit of a stretch. I've had to dress in my waterproof bottoms, a short sleeve top even though it's pretty chilly right now, and a jacket because all of my clothes are in the wash. You're not able to carry much when you go camping or to events like that, so I didn't even bring PJs. That's one big poo. Just gonna perch here for a second. I feel like you guys are really zoomed in. No, just my short arms. Am I gonna find a place for you? Okay, phones can be useful. I've just found a little spot of field out of the track, off the track. Hi guys. Can't believe it. A few days post challenge and the body is feeling good actually. A little bit tight in some areas, in the legs and stuff, but to be honest I haven't actually done a lot of stretching so far, so can't really expect much. Today and for the next couple of days, training. Gonna hear a lot of nature in this video. So for the next couple of days, I'm gonna be taking it really easy. Today I'm just going for a little potter around, going for a stroll, and then I'm gonna be going back home to do an hour of stretching before slowly getting back into training again. And even this week, I will just be doing upper body. I may fit in a lower body session somewhere, just depending on how the old legs feel. But looking back at the challenge, I actually think it went really well. It was my first challenge. I went in open-minded, didn't know what to expect. I didn't treat it as a race. This was a tester run to see what a challenge 31-mile run was all about. To be honest, I didn't actually book this challenge and plan to do it running. I was just thinking, you know, even if I did it as a 31-mile hike, that would even be an achievement, because the longest hike I've actually done is about not even 20 miles. And run, 12. So going in the Lake Districts, the journey was expected, in the middle of nowhere, not great transport routes. Setting up camp, oh my gosh, it was so windy. I met this really nice man. He was at the train station. He came at the same time as me. He had actually done a number of these challenges before, so this was, I think he said, his 6th ultra challenge. He was a great help because I could ask him a few questions about what to expect, food gonna be like, just all of the questions that I didn't really have answered. So I camped. You could hire a tent. That's what he did. And next time, I know for next time to do that, because then you don't have all that luggage to carry. But anyway, it was so windy when I was putting up my tent. He was so kind enough to help me put it up. Oh my gosh, it was like a parachute. It was just flying everywhere. Had dinner that night, tried to get a good night's sleep. It was absolutely howling the whole night. I got about 2 hours sleep, so knackered for the challenge. But because everyone's doing it with you, there's so many different people, the whole atmosphere, the music going, people had different slots of when they were starting. So I had an 8:30 slot, the first time was 6:30, and I think the last slot was 9:30, so I was definitely more towards the end of starting. When it came up to the start time, there was a few runners at the start, and I just thought, oh my gosh, they were like sprinting off. I just took it in my own stride. This is not looking at what everyone else is doing, it's just purely focusing on pushing myself. And the mindset that I was in was, okay, I went in with a game plan. I know what the terrain in the Lake District is like. It's incredibly hilly, loose rocks, very steep inclines, uneven terrain. It's a very challenging terrain to be in. I tried to get myself a pair of hiking poles just to give a bit more stability and to take the pressure off the feet, because especially when you're miles and miles in, you can really feel it on your feet and your legs. Hiking poles just takes that bit of weight off. Also a pair of trail shoes. I went in with an old pair of runner shoes which literally has no grip. Now these are absolutely battered because I wore them for the challenge. But yeah, I did go in not 100% prepared, but I just thought, you know, it's only 31 miles. You know, I'll just get on with it kind of mindset. The weather was supposed to be rainy, sunny, cold, just all of the seasons in one day. That I had to take my wet kit, my warm kit, at least 2 liters of water, bring all of this in a little running vest. I strapped all of my feet beforehand, so I brought my powder with me, blister plasters, strapped up my toes, did all of that, just making sure everything was prepared before running because you don't want to stop. And my camera's gonna die, so I think I'm gonna have to carry this conversation back home. Hi, I'm back. Gosh, this camera is a bit crazy sometimes because even though I have a look how much battery I have, it says full and then it just dies. So I think that's a good old battery problem, but I'm still in my waterproofs. Just come back from my hour-and-a-half walk, which was really nice just to get out. Oh my gosh, nature is so good for the soul, and just being able to stop and breathe and think about things. I didn't even need to put my headphones in, it was that nice. But anyway, the approach that I used throughout the 31 miles worked really well. This is why it was kind of like a tester run to see what worked well, what didn't, the things that I need to improve on, the things that I need to think about next time, the way that I was feeling throughout the run and at the end of the run. At the beginning, between the quarter point and the halfway mark, it was literally like that. Throughout the 31 miles, for every kilometer that you go past, they always have a sign of 1 kilometers, 2 kilometers as you go along, so you know how far you've gone. So midway, still feeling good. I thought my feet would start hurting about 20 kilometers in because I hadn't really done much past that. It was a bit like unknown territory going past that marker. And when I got there, I thought, okay, this is where I need to dig deep because I haven't done this far before. You're at that half mark, and I feel like from 0 kilometers to 25, that's where it sometimes can feel the longest because you still have way over halfway. When you hit that halfway mark, it's like a home run from there. But there was 4 pit stops in total where they provide you with snacks, water and loos and things like that. The first pit stop was at 12.5 kilometers, so about 2 hours in. And they provided Freddos. Oh my gosh, Freddos was the best part. Fizzy drinks, coffees, teas, biscuits. I grabbed a couple of bars. I didn't like to stop at all because for me, I know that if I've been on a long walk or anything, even when I stop after a couple of miles, I sit down, I have my lunch. You know, it's kind of like a day out kind of trip where you do a good walk and then you have lunch, take your time kind of thing. I tend to seize up and I lose that momentum. So quick loo break, grab the snacks and get out. That was my approach and that's what I did. So halfway mark, it was a lunch. Again, going to make it a quick pit stop. Went to the bathroom, filled up water bottles, isotonic drinks again, but this time it was more like a hearty food. So there were sandwiches there. I'm normally a chicken person. I normally always go for chicken, but my stomach just felt like, oh, just constantly shuffling and moving. Eating and drinking on the go isn't necessarily the best. I just took my sandwiches and I had this huge cookie, banana. I couldn't actually hold my banana in the end, so I ended up giving it to someone else, but I shoved my cookie in my bag and ate the sandwiches along the way. Because I didn't want to slow down either, what I did was eat lunch as I was going up the incline, because the approach that I was taking was not to run up inclines. A lot of the time though, I was running with my sandwich, hold it in my hand like that, running down the hill with my snack. I was like, oh, I don't have enough time to eat, better run down, and then I'll start eating again on the next incline. I was trying to do a few stretches along the way, but when it got to halfway mark, I could feel some of my toes really rubbing. I had to quickly stop, change my socks, plaster up again, and then the next pit stop was more than 3/4 of the way. We had lunch as the big pit stop, and then you have the little smaller stops along the way where you don't have such hearty foods. So snacks, they had a huge array of pick mix, and I'm, oh my gosh, it was so good. Picked up some more chocolates, more water, isotonic drink, a bag of sweeties which I held along the way. I picked up these cola bottles, but they did not taste like cola bottles, so they did not get eaten. But those jelly babies went down like a treat. Oh my gosh, jelly babies. At this point though, it was getting to about 15 kilometers left, 35 kilometers in, and my body was starting to really feel it. My legs just started to feel like tree trunks. For some reason my lungs were hurting a bit. I think that's because I hadn't really been used to that kind of distance, and a lot of it was concrete, rocks, and really uneven terrain, which was not good for the feet, not good for the ankles. So the body was starting to feel pretty battered, and I knew that at this point, it was like 9 miles to go. I was really going to have to dig deep at this point. So just making sure I was staying hydrated throughout the whole time, taking on lots of water, eating lots of food, even though I wasn't really hungry, because I feel like, for me personally, when I go running for a long amount of time, even 6 miles, I don't really feel that hungry afterwards. And that's kind of how I was feeling. I had to encourage myself in a way to just to keep on eating, because you're burning so much that you need to replace the body with energy. Now this is where it was like the home run. One more pit stop to go, which was going to be the finish line. And because it was getting up to about 6 hours, I was dragging my feet, and the terrain just seemed to be getting worse and worse. It was a whole different terrain. There was rocky bits, downhill like that with huge rocks that you had to climb over, and then kind of flat-ish, but because it was concrete, it was really hard to run on, just that constant pounding on the feet and the legs. And then tree trunks, you know when you have like the tree trunks in the pathway that you have to kind of climb over because it was just in the pathway, a lot of that towards the end as well. But I just knew that this point was coming. I knew I was going to get to this point of it's all mental, you have to push through. But constantly throughout the challenge I was always thinking, don't get injured, please don't get injured. I could feel things tightening up, getting really sore and rubbing. I just thought, my gosh, don't get injured. As much pain as I was in towards the end, just pushing through, I was not gonna give up. It was like not an option. So just mental. I met someone along the way who had started an hour and a half before me. When he saw me running past, he was like, oh, maybe I should run. So I was like, no, come join me, we can do it together. It will be, you know, be nice to run with someone as well. So he ran with me, and it was just a little bit more of a motive because he had been walking. I felt he had a bit more energy than I did, so it was just a bit like a push for me to keep up, keep going. And we used each other as a momentum, which was really nice. I kept saying to him every time he saw, I was like, no, we're keeping going, because when you start to slow down, that's when you lose the momentum and things just don't necessarily go well from there. And so just pushing towards the end, oh my gosh, when I saw that 5 kilometer mark, I could feel the end in sight. But at this point I was actually having to literally lift my legs, really. My shuffle run was literally like a walk. It was getting to that point.
Oh my gosh, the pain, I had never experienced pain like that before. I was still running with this guy and I found out that he was ex-military, so that was like really nice. He told me throughout the whole time of his 50 kilometers he was taking photos, taking selfies, so every kilometer we went past he was like, oh, quickly take a photo. When I did see the time going past 4 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 2 kilometers, 1 kilometer, you know, I didn't have a lot left in the tank. I was digging it out of somewhere. I was like giving it absolutely everything I have, because the thing for me is that I need to finish knowing that I have given absolutely everything and finishing on a high. When I saw that 1 kilometer, I was still with this guy called Jasper and we saw the finish line inside. We stopped and said, come on, we're gonna do this. And we sprinted to the finish line, just gave it absolutely everything that we had. And at the end, we were like, oh, we did it. Oh my gosh, we did it. I felt so many different emotions because I did this challenge in honor of my mum and to raise money for charity. It just felt so special, so much joy and happiness, but also exhaustion. You finish on a high. You're so full of adrenaline and happiness and just so many amazing emotions that you just think, wow, we've done it. We've done it. 31 miles. Wasn't planning to run, but I ended up running almost the whole way. Yeah, it was good. So at the end, they scan the barcode so they can record your time and your placings. You get a free t-shirt, you get a little glass of champagne, well, a little hat cup. I just relaxed, had all the cookies, all the biscuits, had a nice spaghetti bolognese because I was running on basically fumes towards the end. Isotonic drinks and just pure sugar. I did feel pretty sick after that, so having a nice decent meal at the end was really good. Sitting down was heaven, but at that point when you sit down, I felt all of the pain rushing to me, all the chafing all up my back, all of my sweat, and it was dripping. Anyway, just the pain of chafing everywhere, my gosh. Feet, felt the whole works. I did feel pretty broken after that, but what an experience. It's definitely one of those things though, when you get to that point, you feel that kind of pain, you get to that headspace of mental resilience. So taking all of this, I know that I can put it into the next challenge. I know what to expect and kind of the graph that you need to go through, and all the lessons that I've learned of how to stop the back rubs, and also having hiking poles and actual trail running shoes can definitely help as well. So just taking all of this for the next challenge to come. Now that I'm back, going to do lots of stretching, lots of recovery, and get planning for the next challenge.